Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Some of these are going to be rhetorical. Some of them, I would love for you guys to type it in the chat. Okay. But the topic of the call is your job is to become more valuable. And as I start to go through this, you'll realize the point in what I'm trying to make and how you can take this away. So first question, does your life, does your life, meaning your thoughts, your beliefs, actions, does your life reflect the person that you want to be? Okay. And I know some of these questions are maybe, you're just like, all right, it's a really simple question. I've heard, that makes sense. I heard this before. But really ask yourself, does your life reflect the person that you want to be? It's a very simple yes or no question right now. Does your life reflect the person that you want to be? You may not have the physical results and outcome that you want, but you can display through the way that you think, through your beliefs, through your actions, through your character, the person that you want to be. It's a simple yes or no. Does your life reflect the person that you want to be? Okay, got that down? Next question, what type of value does a great leader bring to the table? What type of value does a great leader bring to the table? Okay. And believe it or not, it's more intangibles than tangibles. It's more things that you can't see than you can see. And what I mean by that is, I said it just right now, your energy. Okay. Value that great leaders bring to the table. They're always like cognizant of this. They make it subconscious where they're not even thinking about it. That's just who they are. But great leaders bring great energy, enthusiasm. Okay. They have a great attitude, a positive attitude. They have an excellent spirit. Like, how's your heart? How's the soil? How's the temperature of your heart? Okay. That's the value, some of the value that a great leader brings to the table, more than just these are my results, this is my delivery, because that's going to look different for everybody, obviously based on what you do. But if you don't have anything right now, those things that I just mentioned to you, you can bring those to the table, and you can always work to be refining those things. I don't know the exact quote or saying, but you guys have heard of, how God will put you through like a refinery process, and it's to remove the impurities from you. And so you're left with this diamond, or however the story goes. I forget, but you guys get my point. And so that's what we're doing here. And so the value that you have and that you can bring to the table as a great leader are those intangibles. Okay. And then this is something I want you guys to type in the chat. You should know one thing right now on your mind. You can type it in the chat. Okay. If it's business related, that's even better. But what is one result-based goal that you have for yourself this year? Type that in the chat. What is one result-based goal that you have for yourself this year? It's an outcome-based goal. It's something tangible, physical. Like, this is something that maybe you can't necessarily control, but that's something that you want. You can control the activities to getting there, but this is a result-based goal. What is one result-based goal that you have for yourself this year? Type it in the chat. I will let you guys know. Mine for this year is Platinum 5,000. That is one result-based goal that I have for myself this year. And don't just say, I didn't want to say my goal at first, but I noticed nobody types in the chat. So I'm giving you guys an example. Say the goal that's on your heart, and I'm going to get into that right now, but say the goal in the chat that you're like, this is the goal that I want to achieve. It could be taking you 12 months, could take you 6 months, could take you 30 days. What's that result-based goal? Okay. Eric said Platinum 1,000 by December 31st. Okay, great. You said a date. You don't have to say a date. You can just say the goal itself. Mason says P2000. Okay, let's go. Alex says Platinum 1,000. All right, let's see. Marin says P600. Let's go. Okay. Perfect. That's your goal. It's your goal. It's nobody else's. And I'm going to explain and break this down in how you can think about this in a practical way. Okay. So before we can have that result, you must first be that person. So going back to that first question, does your life reflect the person that you want to be? Okay. And in order to have that result, we first must be the person so we can do the right actions, which obviously equate to the results that we want in our life. So how does that person, okay, some of you guys obviously I know that's why I didn't want to say my goal first, because I wanted you guys to just kind of think of your goal, but it's okay. We'll all have business related goals. This is a business related call, so it is all good. But thinking about Platinum 600, P1000, Platinum 2000, okay? How does that person think? Like when that person thinks about doing certain activities throughout the day, or waking up in the morning, or, you know, just handling day-to-day business, how are they moving? How are they operating? How does that person think? And if you don't know, ask that person or above who has maybe been there or is already there, okay? Because we know your thinking determines your action. So before you can have the result, you must first be that person. How does that person think? How is that person responding to things, or going through things, or in this case, growing through certain things? My next question for you, you don't need to type in the chat, this is for you. And if you were on the call on Wednesday, the leadership call, they had Greg Greeno, Chairman 50, you know, his wife, Melanie, like was an incredible, amazing, I need the recording, I still haven't seen it. If you guys have seen it, please let me know. Was an amazing call. And he said this one question that completely flipped my whole world upside down. And he said, what goal are you willing to trade your life for? And I think half the time when people get started in what we do, and not only what we do, but new things to begin with, they don't set the right expectations. They have like, they just don't have the right outlook on what they're getting themselves into. It's kind of like the beginning of the year when Alex said she went on a walk or run the other day or whatever on our walkway, and there was like double the more people outside. It is Arizona, but there was double the more people outside than normal. And I truly believe it has to do with the fact that it's the beginning of the year and everybody's gung-ho about hitting their goals and their resolutions. And, you know, half the time people, you know, we're not going to see those people in 2 weeks from now. You're just not. Like, same thing with the gym. And so what he was saying is, what goal are you willing to trade your life for? Because when you set those goals of P6, P1, P2, whatever the case is, you are trading a portion of your life and time and sacrifice for that goal. So what are you willing to trade your life for? What goal is worth it for you to trade a portion of your life? 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week. For me, I feel like I don't even have a number on it. Like, it's just like open ceiling. You got to do what you got to do. Okay. Because I'm that person already. And I'm going to get into that. I don't want to sneak into the information yet, because I want to lay this out so you understand. But you have to recognize what goal are you willing to trade your life for? Okay, what goal here, you got started, what goal here is worth trading your life for? If you said that building business, you know, that building goal in the chat, you want to hit a certain rank, there's a certain number of people on your team, you know, that whole thing, what is going to be like, why is that worth it to you? I'm going to go into that right now, but what does that trade look like every day, every week? Okay, what is that trade? You're trading off something. You're trading off maybe Netflix and chilling. I don't know what you guys do as far as, you know, pastimes and things like that, or, you know, scrolling. Like my sister posted something. She was like, we can scroll for 30 minutes and be like, oh my gosh, time flies. But when it comes to, you know, getting a 30-minute workout in, we're like, I don't have the time, or that's going to take too long, whatever. And it's just like, what things are you going to have a trade-off in your life to make that goal a reality? So you have to get real about what you're willing to do, what's going to be worth it for you. And maybe like certain goals, it's not. And it's like, that goal is not worth my time. Like, I know I'm not going to be willing to do that for an extended period of time. Alex and I have a big goal of getting a house over the next, you know, X amount of time. And I know, like, based on that goal, and I went like 3, 4, 5 levels deep as to why I want that. I was like kicking it into high gear every single day. Like, it's not perfect, but I am doing the things I need to do, not because I'm looking for just a result, but because it's the person that I am. And we're going to talk about that right now. Okay. So hopefully you guys have started to think about that. You wrote that down. And then the question I said in the beginning, what proof do you have that shows you're willing to trade your life for that goal? So let's look at 2022 just as a quick glimpse and example. Maybe we had that same goal that we just wrote in the chat for 2022. I know I did. I was like, I've been, wanting to go platinum 5,000, but I didn't I didn't have this awareness that I'm giving you guys. And nor do I think that I've been through, how you guys just have to go through certain things where it's just like, I am absolutely sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like that level of what is it? You either you do things from two places, inspiration or desperation. And not that I'm desperate, but like I've been through things and I'm like, I never want to go there again. Like I don't want to have this repeated again. I don't want to go through this year again, or I don't want to have the same year again. Like I've already been there. Like I want to create more. I want to be more. So you go through certain things in your life and you're just like, all right, that's it. But now I think we can do it in a little bit more simpler way. You don't have to get to that, to that rock bottom place to make a decision and do something different. Like you can act on it now. What proof do you have that shows you're willing to trade your life for that goal that you set? So the last 12 months, the last 6 months, the last 30 days, have you given yourself any proof, enough proof to show that you're willing to trade your life for that business goal? Okay. Because otherwise, if you haven't, you don't believe. You still don't believe that you actually can. There's like write this down, highlight it, circle it, whatever you gotta do, bull print. No proof, no belief. No proof, no belief. You have no proof to show for yourself. You won't believe that you can do it, which means you won't do the actions long enough to actually see any sort of change and transformation in your life. Okay. So you have to ask yourself that question. The outcome-based goal is just there for you to measure your progress. That's it. I'm not attached to the outcome goal. I'm like the result-based goal, the goal I just said, platinum 5, you guys, P1, P2, P6, whatever the case is. I'm not attached to that goal. I know we hear that a lot. It's very cliche, but subconsciously, we can still find ourselves being attached to those things. Okay. The outcome-based goal, when I can have this awareness about what it is and its purpose and driving point in my life, I recognize that all it is it's just a milestone. It's just a goal is there for direction. It's meant for me to know where I'm going. Okay. But the outcome-based goal is just there for you to measure your progress and make sure that you're on track to the major goal, to the result goal. Okay. And what we do, and Greg Reno talked about this on Wednesday a little bit, but he said you have that outcome-based goal so that way you can reverse engineer that result-based goal down to the daily and weekly activities. Okay, you reverse engineer the result-based goal down to the daily and weekly activities. Okay, and these are the goals that you can control. Okay, the day-to-day activities, these are the goals that you can control and that you can commit to. Okay. And what I was saying before is you want to ask yourself why. He said you can go 3 levels deep. Alex and I even read, I forget where it was from or who said it or whatever, but they said you can go 7 levels deep, and asking yourself why you want what it is that you want. So if you said one of those goals in the chats, platinum 6, P1, P2, so on and so forth, ask yourself 3 levels deep. Just start there. Why you want that goal, and just get really real about it. Why are you willing to trade your life for that goal? Okay. Because at the end of the day, I don't know if you guys have heard this breakdown. Obviously, we've heard of be, do, have, but there's 3 elements to a goal. There's 3 elements to a goal. Number 1 is the external result. Okay. Number 1 is the external result. And they say external because it's something you can't necessarily control. Okay. The things that I can control is number 2, which are the activities. Okay. The activities, the behaviors, that's something I can control. And number 3 is being the type of person. Okay. So the be, do, have, you guys get my point. Being the type of person. So I cannot control the external result. I can't control when it happens or, the depth of it happening or anything like that, but I can control the activities in the person that I'm being. So those are the things that I want to focus on, because if I put my control in something that I can't, or if I put my focus on something I can't control, I'm just going to leave myself with doubt and discouragement and the whole 9 yards. Okay. What is the difference between, this is a rhetorical question. I actually said this on a call previously, but what is the difference between a winner and a loser? And then I know that kind of sounds harsh, so I'll rephrase it. What's the difference between somebody that's created success and somebody that hasn't created success? They both have the same goals. They both have the same goals, which we know a goal is just there for direction. Okay. They both know the activities that they probably need to do. Like if you know you need to lose weight, like you need to eat right, you need to go to the gym, you need to work out. Obviously, there's little things in between. But ultimately, you know the activities that you need to do. In this business, we know what we need to do. We know we need to be posting in the Facebook page and documenting and showing up in there. We know that we should be ATMing. We know that we should be prospecting on a daily basis and following up. Okay, and posting on content on social media, like building your online digital resume. We know the activities to do. We have the same goals, but only one of them actually do those things consistently. Why? Because one person is actually being the person they want to be, okay, the person that they said they wanted to be, and the other is just doing those things to achieve an outcome, not to actually transform who they are. That's the difference. The difference between those two people, winner, loser, successful, unsuccessful, is not that they have different goals or anything like that. They have the same goals. They know the activities they need to do, but one is just doing them consistently because it's the person that they already are. And if you're not already that person, that's what you need to focus on being. I'm constantly thinking about, how would this person respond? How would this person act? How would this person think about things? When I wake up in the morning, like, I'm not even thinking about, oh, I got to hurry up and go do this. I'm already thinking that I'm going to do it because I'm that person. Like I am being that person. So if you're doing things just to achieve an outcome, you're not going to stay consistent long enough to see any sort of transformation in yourself because you're just focusing on the finite result that's going to be temporary, that's going to go away as soon as you get it, as soon as you make more money. You haven't developed yourself enough to actually maintain and manage and multiply that money that you've gotten, because you only got it because you were doing the things to achieve the outcome, not because it was the person that you are. You didn't really develop the being, like your being as a whole. Okay. You're still thinking, not you on this call, but if the shoe fits, like take this. If you guys get what I'm saying, you're still thinking and feeling and believing and seeing, okay, perceiving the same way as you've always been. For example, I gave a great example on the call on Wednesday. Do you still pull up your bank account thinking or feeling the same? Do you still have those same feelings when you pull up your bank account? Okay. Or are you still thinking the same way about prospecting or following up or putting out content on social media? It is not, I don't even think about it anymore. I'm just doing it because it's who I am. Like, I don't think about if I'm going to make content today or whatever. I already have my post for today, like in Saturday, like I'm literally like, if you guys were on the call last night, I literally showed you all of my content for my post that I'm going to be putting out. I'm not even thinking about if I'm going to do it or like, I'm not thinking about that because it's who I am. And I'm only saying that because I'm trying to give you an idea and an example of that's how you need to shift yourself. And for me, it just started with, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired and digging my face in with the right people. Like I'm on Go Live, I'm studying like a select few people that are teaching me how to think a certain way. Like I'm going through my bankroll of people that I want to learn from, and I'm just getting myself as close as I can on a digital level in proximity to them. Okay. And I'm training myself to be that person because I don't want to just achieve an outcome and then lose it. Like I want to do the things that I'm doing because it's who I am. Okay. So what are your initial thoughts, when you think about those things? What are your feelings that you have, right after, because you think something, you have a feeling. You think something, then you have a feeling. We are still doing things. The problem is we're still doing things to just get a result, not because we're working to change who we are, not because we're focused on the transformation that must happen in our mind and in our heart. Okay. And Kayla and I were actually talking about this the other day. This was really powerful in the sense of how you can look at prospecting. So I look at when I prospect, when I build this business, I look at it similar to trading in the sense of the power behind, risk to reward, and knowing that Obviously, I'm not going to win every trade. You know, I may, like, let's say over a course of a month, I may net, as far as a percentage, maybe 45, 52, sometimes 63%, you know, positive. I'm not 80, 90% like win rate. Hell no. Like, no, I don't get to those numbers personally. And that's okay, because I'm so profitable. Like, I know, like, I don't need those numbers. And so I look at prospecting similar to trading in the sense of everything is just a percentage. I don't need to win them all. So sometimes we can get really discouraged, you know, and defeated feeling when we go through certain things, and, you know, maybe people don't text us back, or maybe this is taking too long, or whatever. We're not looking at it the right way. Number one, it's kind of like when people say, you know, well, I'm getting bored with the videos or the academy, and, you know, I keep hearing the same thing. And it's like, okay, I have one question for you. You keep watching and doing all these things, but what has changed about you? You say you keep getting the same information. You keep saying you're doing all these things, but what kind of change has happened in you? What transformation has taken place? And they like, there's no response. You can't tell me, because you're still being the same person you've always been, just doing the different activity. Like, nothing's going to change. So when I look at prospecting, similar to trading, like, you know, I'm looking at people, I'm looking for posts that my ideal prospect is liking. Okay. Like, I'm not going to go and get on pages or posts that has nothing to do with maybe what my ideal prospect may be interested in or is liking. Like, I've identified that for myself. So I'm not going through the rabbit hole of, you know, spending so much time trying to find the right people. Okay. I already have like a system down of where I go to find those people. So I can find 10, 15, 20 people conversations in 15 minutes. I just timed it. Like, I've been doing this. And so I know that for every 10 people I start a conversation with, I know only a select amount of people is going to respond to that. And then out of those people that respond an entire week, I know that only, let's say out of 10 people I start a conversation with every day, I usually will do more than 10. I'll do about 15 to 20, but let's say 15 people, only maybe 3 of the people out of the 15, maybe 4, sometimes more, but let's say 3 on average will respond back. So 3 times 7, because I do it every day, is 21 people that I'm getting a response back to some degree. Okay. I would say maybe even 4 or 5. I actually get more responses, but out of those 4 or 5 people, you know, 20, 25 people a week, I'm only getting a certain percentage of those people to actually take a look at the video. And then only a certain percentage of those people actually follow through right away. And then only a certain percentage of those people to actually get started. And some of those people, like, I will still be able to follow up with them in 3 to 6 months from now. Like, everything is just a certain percentage. And so when I go through this process, I'm not taking it personally. That was what I'm trying to say here, is I'm not taking it personally. I just know it's a process, and I'm just going to continue to show up as the person that builds a successful business. That's how I'm thinking in my head. And so last couple of things that I want to share with you guys on this call, and we'll wrap up, as to why it's important that your job is to become more valuable. And I'm going to tie this all together. But something that Greg also said on Wednesday, and I'm stealing a lot of things from what he did. I mean, I hope they put that recording out if they haven't already. But something that Greg said is, he was like, you need to stop taking things personally. And I think in business and entrepreneurship and anything that you do in your life, you can't take those things personally. There's a time and a place, but business, it's not the time and the place. Okay. You're going to find yourself discouraged, defeated, the whole 9 yards. And I'm going to give you guys an example real quick, but I know when it comes to prospecting and building and, you know, helping people get started, like, I've been on hot streaks where people back to back to back are just saying yes and getting started. And when they were doing that, I thought it was because of me. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm really that good. Like, I'm helping these people get started. Like, they're just saying yes because it's me and I'm that good. And then I've also, on the flip side, I've been on cold streaks and nobody's getting started. And and every other day, every other week, I'd have this identity crisis because I'm taking everything so personally, instead of just showing up consistently as the person I wanted to be. And then I already am at that time. Okay. The only difference is from the people that I'm speaking to is if they've been impressed upon yet or not, or how far along they've been impressed upon. And that was the one thing that he said that I was just like, wow, that's so true. So for example, and I'll tie this together, but the people that were saying yes back to back, or that were just saying, yes, some of it, but it probably did have some of it to do with me. I'm going to take that into control. Like, I'm not just going to blame external circumstances. I know that probably had some stuff to do with me. Maybe it was my energy was different because I was on a hot streak. So I was thinking like, yeah, you're the shit. Like, you know what you're doing. But I also know like my skills were developed, and I was able to help them with making that decision. So a lot of factors had to do with it. But at the same time, those people that were getting started quicker, they were already impressed upon. Meaning some people, like a great example, if you guys know who Dustin is, he got started pretty much the same day I showed him this. Like literally, it was like 24 hours. He got started right away, and he's still in the academy. He's plugging away. He's doing great. And the crazy part about it is he got started right away. But that really I was just there. Like it had nothing to do with me. So I can't take that personally in the sense of, yeah, I got him started because of how good I am. I'm just building a business. I'm just looking for people that are hungry. And it's my job to bridge that gap and help them make a decision. Dustin just happened to be ready to get started right away. Okay, because he had already been impressed upon. But the people that maybe are taking a while to get started or to say yes or to make that decision or to follow up back with you, like they haven't been impressed upon like that yet. And some people need more impression than other people. And so I say all of that to hopefully give you a perspective and a way of thinking to not take it personally. Like I just like, yeah, like Wednesday when he said that, I drew a line in the sand. I was like, don't take this stuff personally. Don't get too high on your horse and don't get too low in the valley where you feel like you can't come out of it, because you always can. You can you got to meet yourself in the middle, and just keep doing and plugging away, as the person that you are, and don't get influxed by the results and people's decisions, because it's always going to be like this. Okay. We've seen the markets. We know the Wall Street cheat sheet. We know what that looks like. That's people's emotions. And so bottom line is stop doing things to just get a result and do things because it's who you are. Okay. Stop doing things to just get a result and do the things that you need to do because it's already who you are. Okay. If you're not providing proof of the person that you want to be, I promise you, you're reinforcing the person that you've always been. If you're not providing proof of the person that you want to be, you're not giving yourself evidence of what that looks like, you are still reinforcing the person you've always been. Because once you obtain the result, okay, if you're operating in the sense of the person that you are, once you obtain the result, you won't stop doing the things that got you there because you were doing them because it was who you were the whole time. Like you were already doing those things because it was just who you are the whole time. Okay. Asking yourself, what would this person do? What would this person do? The person that I'm working to be, the person maybe I'm role modeling after, or I look up to. Okay. They always, the great example is, what would Jesus do? Right. They'll always give that reference. And how we can maybe see an example or a role model. Okay. Same thing goes here. Think about what that person looks like that's doing the things that to obtain the results that you're looking for. Because once you attain the results, people like to take their foot off the gas, and that's what creates problems in the first place. You weren't doing it you were doing it for the result. You weren't doing it because of who you are. Okay. And I want you guys to write this down as well, because I think this will give you a nice mindset shift. But the people that achieve what they want in their life, they do the uncommonly obvious things, going back to the 3 elements of a goal. Okay. The external result, the activities, and then being the type of person. Okay. The activities, what separates people? It's not the goal itself. Everybody has pretty much the same goals to a degree. And everybody pretty much knows the activities that they need to do. The difference is the people that actually achieve what they want in their life is they're doing the uncommonly obvious things for an insubordinate, which means a crazy, long period of time. Okay. You're doing the uncommonly obvious things. Yes, the obvious things every day that I do. Where's my notebook? My notebook is in the other room. Of course it is. My notebook is in the other room, but I have a list of things that I do every day. And it's the uncommonly obvious things that we all know we have to do. Prospect, follow up, put out content on social media, like engaging with other people, like I do that every day. And it's not Abby, it's just I'm being the person that I want to be. I'm not focused on an outcome. That's why I'm still in the game. I think that's maybe why some of you guys are still here as well, because you know that this is the place. This is where your flag is planted. This is where you have the best opportunity to grow in every area, majority that you can in your life. But I am in the game 6 years later, not because of a result, not because of materialistic things, not because of money or anything like that. Like, I am here because I understand the game that I'm playing. I'm working on being the best version of myself that I can be, not to obtain a finite outcome or result. It's doing the uncommonly obvious things, what I just said, for an insubordinate period of time, literally for an extended period of time, fancy word, until you get the job done, until you get there. And then you're not even thinking about stopping because it's just who you are. Okay. And that's what separates them. They're doing those things because it's who they are, not because they're trying to achieve a finite outcome. Okay. Because if you are doing it because it's who you are, then you'll always continue to do those things regardless of external factors, inconveniences, or discomfort. And I say those three things because those are the three things that usually will get us off of track. Those will, and when I say off track, I mean stop being the person that you're wanting to be, that you're wanting to transform into. External factors, inconveniences, and discomfort will stop you from doing the things and being the person. Okay. We cannot, and I'm gonna tie this all in as to why your job is to become more valuable. Because if you're not being the right person, if you're not giving yourself the proof, if you're not going through the things I just mentioned, you will never be that person that can be a person of value consistently, congruently, like you're aligned, like you're the same person online that you are, in person. Okay. We cannot provide more if we do not become more. And if we are so fixated and basing our self-worth, our self-esteem, our value on a result rather than who we are being and becoming, then we aren't even giving ourselves the opportunity to grow in value and be able to provide that to other people. Okay. We're so fixated in basing our entire like self-worth on a result and getting discouraged based on other people's decisions and taking things personally. I'm guilty. I'm first person. I'll tell you that I'm guilty of doing these things, but I've become aware of this. So if we know better, we can do better, but that's not always the case because just because we know things doesn't mean that we do them. Okay. And there needs to be a transformation that takes place, not just in our mind, but in our heart. Like I was reading in one of the passages in the Bible this morning, I think it was in Proverbs, and it said something along the lines of, until the things that you hear gets in your heart and there's a transformation that takes place, nothing will really change in your life. And like, that's where we want to focus on. That's why I talked about in the beginning, the value pieces that you can bring to the table as a great leader is your energy, is your enthusiasm, is your excellent spirit, is your heart. Okay. Is your attitude, man, your attitude. Don't walk into a place with a negative, moody attitude. Like, especially as somebody that's wanting to be a great leader, like you've got to transform your heart. That's why I gave the example earlier of people saying, I'm doing all these things, but nothing's changing. Nothing changes if you don't change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. You could be consuming all these things, but until you make a change in your heart, nothing is going to change. And so if I've given you anything on this call today, guys, I hope it is a few things, but I hope it's to recognize who you're being and what type of proof you've given to yourself thus far, and just kind of getting real about, have I been doing things to achieve a result and then getting discouraged by the outcomes of my life? Or is it, or am I really doing things because it's who I am? And you are who you are right now. If you're continuing to provide proof in your life, and if it's not of the person that you want to be, it's reinforcing the person you've always been, and that's why you're creating the same results you've always gotten. Okay, so this assignment I want to give you guys to leave the call. Last week, I mentioned, and you can still do this if you haven't done it already. Do not delay. Okay, take action. Successful people, great leaders, do not delay. They're coachable. They do these things. You guys know this, but ask yourself, what proof have you given yourself to show that you want what you say you want? Okay. What proof have you given yourself to show that you want what you say you want? And this week I have a couple things. Okay. They're not a lot, but they are going to give you a deep dive. And if you guys have maybe noticed a theme of these, of the calls that we've done so far, I'm not like it's not how can I explain? These calls aren't like, I hope you don't see them as something fancy. It's just literally reminders of things that we already know. And I'm just digging a little deeper. I'm just digging a little deeper, and hopefully somebody on this call, it just clicks and you have that transformation take place. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be you doing the uncommonly obvious things for a period of time, and you showing up every day to be that person. But this week, I want to give you guys this assignment, okay? But ask yourself, number one, are you doing things for the finite result or because it's who you are? Okay, it's a very simple question. Are you doing things for the finite results or because it's who you are? Okay. Number two, what outcome-based goal and daily activities are you willing to trade your life for? You have your outcome-based goal. What does that look like? Yes, I would put a date on it. Okay, give yourself a deadline, because all that does, it's not to put any negative pressure on you. What it's supposed to do is allow you to reverse engineer the things that you should be doing on a day-to-day basis and allow you to measure and track your progress. Am I on track? Am I being the person I said I was going to be? Like, am I going to hit my goal? And then you can show yourself the proof that you are worthy of the goal and you believe it because of your documentation. Okay. What outcome-based goal and daily activities are you willing to trade your life for? Okay. And the last thing is just go 3 levels deep. Why? Why do you want that goal? Why is that important to you? Why are you willing to trade a portion of your life, a portion of your time, and sacrifice? And think about those sacrifices. By the way, I don't know if it matters. I'm just saying, Discord lets you see who plays video games. And I'm just saying, I'll be seeing some of y'all be playing video games while we have calls. So ask yourself what you're willing to trade your life for, okay? If it means getting on certain calls, and I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad, I'm just trying to get you guys to get real about, yes, some of those things we have to trade our life for if we're not in a position that we want to be, or if we're not even being the person that we said we wanted to be. So that is the call today, guys. I hope this struck a chord for you. I hope this was maybe something you needed to hear and maybe a reminder. Maybe you learned something new. I don't know. But we're going to be back at it again next week. And as you guys are familiar, we have calls on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday leadership, which is for everybody. And they bring in, half the time chairmans, which are totally next level than maybe what I could give you guys on this call. But these calls can maybe be accountability and reminder in a more intimate setting. And that's what you're going to really gain from this. And so we have those calls. And then Friday, not to overload you guys with stuff, but it's just who I am. I show up to things that are aligned with me and who I want to be. And Friday, those calls are really meant to create that intimate setting and environment for you to just stretch, for you to grow, for you to practice some of the things and skills that we're going over. And if you guys were on the call last night, you saw how powerful the conversations were. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. I need to check the chat a little bit more throughout the call, but you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for being here, being present, providing your energy. Have a great Saturday and a great weekend. And I will talk with y'all later. Peace.